What's up, good people? Welcome to another edition of C.A.P. I'm one of your hosts, Big JD. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do what? We're going to cultivate.
What's up, y'all? This is Chamel Jackson, and we are going to accumulate.
Hey, y'all, it's Chamel Jackson. We are ready to prosper.
Whoa, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
I'm doing good.
Listen, y'all. Buzz. It's been a little minute before we was last together, and it has been so much.
Yes.
So much going on. So we had a couple of topics that we could come to you with for the buzz. First, we want to talk about A.J. Owens, who was killed in Florida, I believe, Ocala, Florida, by Susan Lawrence. Now, A.J. Owens is a black lady. Susan Lawrence is a white woman, and she killed A.J. in front of her 10-year-old son. So you know this is going to be a traumatic event for him. But here's the thing. A.J. was a black mother of 4. Apparently, Susan had been just really going at her kids, yelling at them, throwing things at them, and even took an iPad from one of AJ's children. So AJ just went to the house just to, knock on the door and talk to her, and she shot her through the door, killing her. So what do you guys have to say about this particular situation?
Whew. Okay, so it's a lot. It's a lot. Even without the kid being there, it's a lot. So, but he was the way they were there, so it makes it even more a lot. And so, at the end of the day, when you do wrong, there should be a consequence.
Right.
There is no reason why this lady should have shot this mom, especially in front of her kids. Like, I can only imagine. Even as an adult, I wouldn't want somebody to be killed in front of me. Like, so that would affect anybody, let alone a child. So, it's a lot going on with just in general. But again, when you do wrong, there are consequences. And this lady was wrong.
Definitely not the manslaughter charge that they are trying to give her, because to shoot through a door is just murder, flat out.
Well, once again, this is same song, different singer. Over the years, back in 2012, Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman. Rewind back 2020, Ahmaud Arbery, the 2 white guys in Georgia. And then countless of other events that's probably have happened that didn't get media coverage. And now this white lady, Susan Lawrence, 58, decides to shoot a black mother of 4 through her door because she felt her white privilege would protect her. Let's just keep it real. And that she could use the stand your ground law. But she yelled racial slurs to the woman's children. They left a iPad in the field next to her house, which was next to her house, so it wasn't on her property. She took the iPad, and so the woman went over there like any mother to see what's going on after her children told her, and she shoots through the door. The sheriff office there in Ocala, Florida, because this is in Ocala, Florida, took a few days before they arrest her. Now, just think about this. If this was the other way around, if this was a black woman shooting a white woman, this would not have played out this way. There's nobody, conservative, non-conservative, Christian, non-Christian, could tell me different. So this thing keeps happening. If it wasn't for the pressure of people speaking out, calling, they still would have been sitting on their hands on this. And now they're trying to charge her with manslaughter since the stand your ground law does not apply, which they were trying to apply. But this is murder, whether it's first or second degree. This wasn't manslaughter. She shot through the door. So once again, as a nation, black people, white people, all races of people, to keep turning a blind eye to this, if you keep poking that bear, when it wake up, it's going to react. And this is just another disheartening incident that keeps happening. And it's happening to people who look like me, you look like us. And so there is this stench of racism, biasness that's going on, and something's got to be done about it.
Right.
She needs to be held accountable. And that's all there is to that. This cannot continue, because there's going to be eventually a reaction when this keeps happening, because it's happening a lot of times to black people. So that within itself tells you the racial component, the biasness, the prejudiceness, the bigots, all of that is just that's a recipe for that. Now, on a lighter note, we have the Devon Franklin interview on the Breakfast Club this week. This brother who's a movie producer, also he's a minister, famously known for being married to Megan Good a few years ago. He dropped a lot of gems. I did see him when he came to Memphis a few years ago and spoke. It was somewhere at one of the hospitals. Yeah, they had a auditorium. So he was on the Breakfast Club, and he was speaking about the new movie he's produced called Flamin' Hot, which is based off the guy that produced the Flamin' Hot Cheetos that all these children love to eat.
Yes, and some adults.
Yeah, so and some adults like to eat it too. I bypass on that, but he dropped some major gems on not only about the premise of the movie, but they asked him about how's he been holding up since his divorce from Megan, and just being a single person. And it made a lot of sense, because if you're not happy with yourself while you're single, how can you truly make someone else happy or be happy with someone else? So what did you all take from that interview?
With this interview, I really, really liked this interview with Devon. And what I liked about it is because there was a question that he was asked, and he was asked, how did he feel seeing Megan Good with Jonathan Majors? Mm-hmm. And his response was, I'm happy for her. Yeah. It's not this thing. So often you have celebrities and that, he loved his wife. And so for this to happen, anytime anybody goes through a divorce, it can be hard. It can be frustrating. But even after all of that, to know he actually took time as a man to heal from the hurt and the pain and everything, to the point where now she's with someone else, and he can say, I'm happy for her. And you can see from his mannerisms and what he's saying, he truly means it. That was very enlightening to me, because you have so many celebrities who are going around and they make it so hard, especially, luckily, they didn't have any children involved, but sometimes there are children involved, and it gets really, really hard for every single person involved. So I loved hearing him say that.
Yeah. I like, every time I've heard him speak is a lot of balance, because he did say that there were nights he cried himself to sleep. But he also said, because they wanted to know what he really thought about Megan dating someone else, and like, was he wishing like ill will on him, things like
right.
that. And he I forgot the one of the comments that he made, but he did say that he was gonna leave it at that. So I'm sure we all human, I'm sure he had some moments where he probably shouldn't felt this, or not, think this way about the situation. But he had a great balance of, I'm gonna tell you this, but I'm not gonna tell you that, just to keep, because that's his business. Like, he don't have to share that with us, the world. Like, he's going, I don't know. Did they say the divorce is final? Is final? I don't know if it's final or not, but I mean, he was balanced. That's what I like about it. And as far as the flaming hot, now, yes, I do eat flaming hot Cheetos, and I actually had some this week. Ironically, I did, and they were very good. They were. So, I love hearing stories about, just backgrounds of stories of, certain things, not everything, but just certain things. It's just inspiring. Like he said, he liked to produce movies that's inspiring. So just hearing about how that came about, and then also I caught the beginning of the movie. So it's going to look like it's going to be a good movie. So I want to see the rest of it.
Now, one more thing we would really like to get in about also. Like I said, it's been a lot going on in the buzz. So yesterday, Janelle Monáe's new album was released, and there was an interview with her. I believe that was on yesterday as well. And I was watching this podcast on Janelle, and I'm going to say this, and you guys can pipe in on this as well. But so, of course, I may not just, I'm that lifestyle of hers. I don't, get into that or whatever. However, the thing that I can relate to with Janelle is she talked about trauma she's had to endure, and being abandoned by her father and going through different abandonments, but finding her level of inner peace, finding how to be free. And it made me think of this song by Kirk Franklin where he says, "Imagine me being free, trusting you totally. Finally, I can. Can you imagine me?" So I love the fact that she was able to find this inner peace. She's not worried about what other people thinks about her, but she's finding peace with herself and able to be who she is with no regret. I think that's fabulous. You guys take on that?
Yeah, as you were talking, I thought about, just the topic of people pleasing. Mm-hmm. And so that's something I've had to work on as well, if I'm going to be transparent, just, worried about what other people are going to think. So I have to really be focused on, okay, how can I still be love on people, but not sacrifice myself in the process. And so, but that's a journey within itself, and it takes courage to not be a people pleaser. And then also, but of course, like you said, Erica, her lifestyle is not, doesn't line up with my faith. So for me, there's a balance between, what my faith is, and then also, what am I desiring to do? So I have to make sure or think about the lifestyle that I'm living, is it lining up with my faith? And so that's just me speaking from that point of view.
Well, I'm going to say this. Janelle Monáe, I think she's a beautiful sister, very easy on the eye. And I noticed, she has her persona, has transitioned over the past few years. Because I remember when she was this pretty young lady, but she wore these tuxedos, and she speaks about that in the interview. And now with her new album, which is called The Age of Pleasure, I've seen the video to the first song, Lipstick, and coming up out the water. Is all I'm gonna say. It's like, wow, it's a visual effect. But she said this has been her for the longest, and she was afraid to be herself based on what other people thought. Mm-hmm. Now she has spoken that she consider herself non-binary, and of course, people have their own different interpretations and live their own lifestyles. But beyond that, I can see when she did the interview with Charlamagne and DJ Envy, where she said that there was an age of depression, there was an age of anxiety. Now she's living in the age of pleasure. So everyone has their own journey. But far as her being an artist, I mean, she's a talented artist. And like with a lot of things, I think you have to be able to separate, the artist from whatever their lifestyle may be if it don't line up with yours. But you can always take some sort of wisdom nugget from somebody. And how she spoke about the trauma that she dealt with as a young girl pertaining to her father and other things, it made a lot of sense. But I've listened to a couple tracks on the LP, and so far it's been pretty dope. It's definitely a little different than some of her earlier, because it just debuted yesterday on the 9th, but this is her first album in 5 years. So she's no longer, in the, at least right now, in the tuxedos. She's got a little bit of that Rihanna, Beyonce slash Lil Kim slash everything going on, but she's still being herself with her own unique spin to it. So, yeah.
I like that you said that, though, because I remember while looking at her interview, she did say that in creating, like they said, it was kind of short. And she did say that in creating it, she wanted it to be sure that she had a whole vibe.
Yeah.
She got vibe from it. So, and that the other people who listened to it would be able to feel that vibe. And she went through great lengths to make sure that this would be, able to happen. So I wouldn't mind listening to it myself so I can check out the vibe.
All right, we got another little bit of, I guess I'm going to call it a buzz topic. But I have some news. This will be the last episode that I'll be recording with Mr. Jerry and Miss Erica. I took some time to just not do this often, not just recent, but often, to figure out, what am I doing in this season? What's in the next season for me? What have I done in the past season? Just to figure out, are the things that I'm doing now, should I be doing them? Not necessarily that there are going to be bad things. It's just that there are some things that, we are all called to do in a certain time. And so I took some time to really process what I have going on. And so, as you all know, I am an author of Wait, Women, Intimate Tales, and Girl, Forget All That, which is recently a new release. I redid the book, and so it is out now on my website and Amazon. And so it's a story about my journey of healing from a breakup that ended 5 years ago, 4-year relationship. And so I just walked the reader through that whole process and going back into the dating scene and all the benefits that came from the breakup. And so I have been promoting that. And so it's a lot of work that goes into anything that you are pursuing as far as your purpose. And so I just said, well, if I'm going to do something, I want to give it my all. And I said, I got to be focused. And so that's what I'm focused on right now. It's just all the things that's going to come from this book. And so like I told them, this is not goodbye,
Right.
This is just me, it's just a new kind of relationship versus the podcast and all that. But, and I also told them that, because it's not goodbye, it's because if I allow anybody in my space, there's a reason why you're in my space, and it's a reason why they have me in their space, and so and if you're not in my space, it's a reason why you're not in my space, and so I don't, I'm very intentional about relationships, romantic, all types of relationships. I'm very intentional, so this is not the last that they will hear from me. So it's just just a new season. Change is inevitable. So that's where I'm at.
So congratulations, Chamel, on your book, Girl, Forget All That, Part 2.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and I'm wishing you all the best. We started with youth leadership coaching and then have been on this journey with this podcast. So I'm just looking forward to just seeing what else God does.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah. Just wanted to add as well, congratulations on the book. And I totally understand. I wish you nothing but much success And like you said, it's not goodbye. You may not continue to be here with us on the podcast, but I mean, there's some upcoming projects down the road I know that we'll collaborate on. So definitely wish you much success. And, you know, it's you're not only a friend, but you're like a sister. And so,
Don't
you know,
get me start crying on the screen.
So I just want to put that out there. We got a number of love for you, and yeah, you know, from youth leadership coaching, when we first got to know each other a year ago, working on Erica's youth leadership program, to me pitching the idea for this podcast to you all back in December, up until now doing episode 7. So there's a reason for everything, and you know, I believe that we'll all definitely intersect again down the road on some most greater things. So much success with that.
All right, thank you. And I do want to add, thank you all for tuning in. During my time on the podcast, I've learned a lot just about podcasting in general, and then also just the things that we've talked about. I mean, if this is your first time, make sure you go back and watch the other episodes that we have done as well. So it's just a lot. The people, the guests who we've had, it's just like you said, it's a reason for everything. And I'm just grateful to have learned the things that I did learn while I was doing the podcast. So I will take those things with me in other areas. So it's not I can only use this as a podcast host, but also other areas too. So thank you all. Thank you.
No doubt. Well, today we have on this episode, we have another special guest, a young brother that I've come to know that, as you can see right here, a lot of times people ask me where I get these dope shirts from. Well, the idea come from my mind, but you know, I don't make the shirts, so I have to go somewhere to get them made. And so there's a brother by the name of C.J. Nevels who's our guest today. He hails from Holly Springs, Mississippi, the C.A.P, as they call it. He's an actor, 3 years experience, stage plays, some of the most notable ones, even though he's done many. Married to a Cheater, Invisible Me, Erica's stage play Detours 2. And like I said, he's also an entrepreneur. His brand is called Life, which is spelled Liphe. He will expound more on that because he does these dope shirts that I like. And so without further ado, Mr. Nevels.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me.
No doubt.
Time for me to get capped, huh?
Time to get capped, man.
You captivated.
Captivated.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, CJ.
Oh, yeah. Well, like you said at first, I'm from Holly Springs, Mississippi.
Okay.
And I got into the acting space around 2017, actually, but I've been, like, professionally doing it for, like, the past 3 years.
Okay.
And it started off at the church at New Direction. And,
Familiar with that church? That's the church I belong to, Pastor Stacy Spencer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I used to go there myself.
Yeah, so all y'all familiar with it. And around that time, you know what I'm saying, like I really just didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing. So I was just going, just kind of get a little inspiration, just kind of try to figure me out. And then just one Sunday, it was probably like around October, I was coming out of service, and they had women at the desk, lining up, trying to get people to sign up. A lot of people just walking away because, like, people don't really want to just perform on stage plays. And, like, and then with New Direction, it's a big church, so I know how it is. But with me helping my friend with his music videos, I'm like, if I can do that, ain't no way I'm not finna, act for God. You know what I'm saying? So it started off there, and Miss Kia Griffin was our director for that. And I can go on and on about how it started, because it's just not your average story of how an actor gets started, because I didn't go to school for it. I didn't really just perfect. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't see myself doing it. I always enjoyed movies, but it just started off there.
So what would you say was your pivot from that first play at New Direction to you acting in many different roles now in plays?
I can tell you my key was, I think it just came from serving, because so even though I act in the New Direction play, there was one play, and So during that process, during rehearsals, I was always nervous. But me, Keisha Kathy, she always kept telling me, like, you deserve to be on stage. And I was like, I don't really. I said, all right, but I don't think I was that good. So she said, when Princeton Elkers have another audition, I'm going to send you the information. I want you to go there.
Okay.
And I was working at Walmart in the tire shop at that time. I'm like, I got a job. I can't just skip all my job because the audition was like from 1 to 5. By that time I'm at work, but I had a lunch break. I'm like, somebody seeing this much in me, let me just give it a shot. So I thought I was going to go on my lunch break and, and I got the audition and come back to work. Like, so I still got my work uniform on. I was at the audition probably from like 2, almost toward the end. So like I done went over my lunch break and I'm missing hours from work. You know what I'm saying? But my manager, she was kind of cool with it, so she understood. And I didn't get the role, but I met Bianca McMillan. And she just started working with me, like just giving me, like telling me how to, you gotta work on your enunciation, your, they teach you about blocking and how you supposed to stand and stuff like that. Pronunciation, like, cause I taught her a list and that used to be like one of my insecurities and she would try to work with me on it. She put me in like one of her skits that she does. And it was like based off the movie Why'd I Get Married?
Okay.
No, so I was playing the good guy when she met what was the guy?
Troy.
Troy, yeah. So I was reenacting him.
Sheriff Troy.
Yeah.
Troy.
And so, but I mean, we didn't do the whole dynamic, but we just kind of got a little feed from it. So it started from there, and I had my brand Life, and my cousin Bianca Richmond, she had a play coming up. So I was just hitting up because she was looking like for sponsorship. So I just wanted to sponsor my brand and be a sponsor for it, just to get my brand out there. And I asked her, I said, anything else you need me to do, just let me know. She like, well, you can act this role out for me. I thought she was playing. I was like, you for real? She was like, yeah. I said, all right. So she gave me the script, and I went to rehearsing, and it started from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was it about being in a play in New Direction, the Christmas play, made you want to go into the film industry?
To be honest, I wasn't even going for that. It was just, somebody saw something in me, and I'm like, I'm gonna just give it a try, you know. And when I met Bianca, she just wanted me to be in her skit because I think somebody wasn't able to make it. And so since she been working with me, she was like, well, I trust you to pull this out. So I did that, and like I can say everything was just God, cause me just willing to help and to serve. That's how that started coming to me. And then it also started like even then there was just only one play I was in. Like I said, I was still trying to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. So Miss Erica, y'all co-host, she used to always post like these inspirational quotes, and it'd be like the random times of the night. You know what I'm saying? And she still do it to this day.
I do.
Yeah, so I think it probably like maybe 3 months before I even just DM'd to her about like, reaching out to her, just say, because I think I told her like her quotes inspired me, and I'm just I need help trying to find my purpose. And I ended up getting with her. She started coaching me, and she started telling me about being intentional. And I guess for somehow, me telling her my story, she said, I got a role for you in this. And don't get me wrong, it was a small role, but I appreciate it because the first play I was in with Bianca, that was a small role too. And the next time I was in it, I had the main character role. The next time we did the encore. Same thing happened with Eric, I had a small role in it. And the time came to do encore, I was the main character in it. So all that really be God. It'd be hard for me to take any kind of, just praise it. It's all me, because I know it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Right. So,
I can say too that CJ is a humble man. He's very humble, and he will get up and do anything that's needed. And even in detours, it was like I gave him a small role, but even in doing that, he proved himself worthy to be as a main cast member. He went through there and learned everybody's lines. he was, very good and showed himself that he is a true actor. And being that he was in detours too, it brings me to my first question. So, CJ, what detours would you say you have encountered along this journey?
Let me sit up. So I think I had, like, in the past 5 years, I had a couple detours because I went to college, and through college I found out, like, okay, I ain't want to go to just the average route. I didn't even see myself, like, I wanted to graduate just because my family did, but I ain't just really feel it was for me at that point. But, things happen. So, like, but during college I did find, like, I found a certain path for me because, like I said, everything happened with acting. It came from me just serving and helping people. So before then, I was helping my friend manage her music career at first. And I just only became I didn't even become a manager like that. Like, she kind of, I ain't gonna say she forced me into it, but the way I was helping her, it was only right if she did just say I could be a manager. You know what I'm saying?
So kind of transition your way into that.
Yeah, but really I was just helping her because I feel like, people gonna try to get over on her because she was a female.
Yeah.
I'm like, if ain't nobody gonna be there all the time and I'm there anyway, like, I might well be willing to, like, just take on, like, if I can tell, like, he gonna try to get over, he just want to holler at you. You know what I'm saying? I can kind of just be the middleman and cut that out. So she started kind of making me her manager, but through that, I detoured into have my own brand myself. Come like, all right, I'm doing this for you, but what's gonna be for me one day? You know what I'm saying? Like, because just in case you start wanting to do something else, I still gotta have a backbone for me or something I need to do. So I did that, and from me having my brand and doing it, and just, like, getting my name out there with stuff like that, I started, like, sponsoring, like I sponsored Bianca play. I sponsored it was another play I was in called When Mom Is Gone. I got a sponsorship for that too, and I didn't sponsor the whole play, but I gave a donation. They had different sponsors, but through me serving and helping, it led into those different roles. Because once they find the idea act, they be like, "Well, I got this for you." You know what I'm saying? So detour happens. So it'd be so funny how a detour can happen, but it all be for God. It'd be for the greater good.
Right.
Like I said, I ain't see myself acting, and it just came from me serving. So, like, I think serving was a big part for that for me.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, CJ. Growing up in Holly Springs, Mississippi, man, what was a young CJ into?
Man, I love getting with my friends. Football, we used to always play ball in our neighborhood, and women too as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think I was just a normal teenager. Like, I had my struggles and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just all bad, but you act out as a teenager sometimes. But to me, it wasn't just acting out. I just being a boy. You know what I'm saying? I just being a teenager. So, but I think I was a pretty calm dude. I wasn't bad. I ain't getting much trouble.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So what's coming from Holly Springs, Mississippi? What is something that, from your hometown, that you feel has prepared you for where you are now?
I think it had to be my granddad instilled that work ethic in me, because he used to have us in old pastures, like, during the summer, like, it wasn't no, if you over there, you gonna work in that pasture out there. No, you either gonna cut some grass out here, you gonna do something, you ain't gonna be sitting in the house sleep all the time. So he instilled that work ethic in me. Seeing my mama do everything she could, being a single mom and just taking care of me and my sister, she really showed me it wasn't no excuses. And a lot of times, so, like, my dad wasn't a big part of my life, but he was there, but he just dealt with me, like, all the time, you know what I'm saying? So, but my mama showed me ain't nobody really gonna give you nothing. Yeah. So, like, it'll be time when I was getting ready for football season, like, she'll tell you, I tie a tie around me and run up the hill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't wait for practice. You know what I'm saying? I did all that on my own. And she talk about that to this day. So I think just seeing people who not have it all but still doing what they had to do, it just let me know that you still got to do it. And my mama was a big, her faith and shit. It's so big. Like, things that I feel like people should worry about, she makes it seem like it ain't nothing.
Wow.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah. So I did forget to add that, like Jerry, I chose to wear a CJ original today.
I appreciate y'all.
Near about everybody in the play has this shirt.
Yeah.
Everybody Detours too was, they was rocking this. Even gave him a little commercial inside the play. I'm just saying. But CJ, you have done a lot. You have even done a play that led you all the way to the Cannon Center. You have been at the Lander Center. So you have really, really been making a name for yourself and growing by leaps and bounds. And a lot of times we see people who do that. Sometimes they may venture out of Memphis. They may stay in Memphis. They may start directing themselves. So what is your ultimate goal in the theater and film industry?
Ooh. To be honest, it ain't really just I never just really thought about the ultimate goal because like God been leading me every step of the way. Like any plans I have for myself is always got like it was always for the greater my good, but it was overly what I thought I was gonna do.
Right.
Like, cause I thought I was gonna be this mogul music manager or something like that. He led me into having a t-shirt brand, a clothing brand, to acting like.
Wow.
It's hard. Like I still do like vision boards and stuff like that every now and then, but I add to my vision board this past year, stop putting the cap on God. So there's one I put on my vision board.
Stop putting the cap on God. Okay.
That's fitting. That's fitting. You know what I'm
saying?
Yeah. But that's on my vision board.
So leading from that, man, when was the moment that you cultivated your desire of acting and then your clothing line, into, your aspiration to this is tied into your purpose? When would you say was that moment that you cultivated those two things to be tied to your purpose?
I want to say I had to say it really did start in Detour because like even before I got Detour, I felt like I was okay, but I didn't think I had a real gift until like, when people couldn't show up, and I think it was already designed that way. Because when Erica asked me to play this role or play that role, and when people would tell me like, your lines already, you good enough, like they would, they was feeding into me like, I'm not even thinking I'm doing much. I'm just trying to make sure like, cause I gotta reenact with every different character, and if they partner ain't there, like it's kind of hard for them to build their chemistry. So like, I'm trying to make sure I get them enough so they can work on their chemistry with this other partner until they get there. So it started from there, and then like when people outside of Detour started coming to me telling me that I got a gift, and when my gift started like. It started introducing me to different people, and not only did it introduce me to different people, like sometimes you'll be helping somebody out and not even knowing it. Like me telling my story, like or how I started, certain people in the cast, they were like, man, they were so motivated. Like, so I think God really do put you in certain places for a reason, and He take you through certain things for a reason. And that's why I started feeling like that was my purpose, because like if I was doing anything else, I probably wouldn't came into contact with these other people. Yeah. And the fact that I'm not just only acting like I'm really helping too while I'm out here. And, people actually do pay attention to you, and you're like, my gift kind of helps show other people what they going through. Because you'll hear people in the audience say, like, I felt it, they felt real. Mm-hmm. And, like, I'm going through the same thing, and the storyline can help them overcome it. Yeah. So, like, now I think I use that more as a ministry. Now, I ain't think acting can be a ministry.
Mm-hmm. It definitely can. So since you got bit with the acting bug, what would you say you have accumulated over the years?
Like a sense of purpose, something I was looking for at first. Like you can do things, but you know how you can be doing so much and not feel fulfilled? Mm-hmm. Like acting make me feel fulfilled because not only am I doing it just for me, but I found like I said, I found a sense of purpose. And then, like, even when I am acting and I'm going there, like, I'm not only just giving my service of acting, like, I'm seeing how else I can help in this way, too. And I'm also learning, like, and with this, like I'm having my own event October the 21st, and it's gonna be like an art mixture. Like, so I want to help people that to stop them from going to all the certain struggles that I had to go through. Like when you're going through something, certain people like to hide information from you or feel like you got to pay them for this information. At least with this right here, opening doors for like I'm gonna have some poetry going on there. So people who've been inspired to read poetry but just was afraid to do it, it's gonna be a real intimate set. You know what I'm saying? So like that's at least getting them out their comfort zone. You know, I'm gonna have a little theater there with a couple skits. I'm gonna have a live performance there, and I just kind of I want it to build over time. You know.
Yeah. So you're basically paying it forward.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I love it.
to be a blessing. I had a friend that used to say that all the time. You know, we have the detours and things like that. So, what is something that you found very difficult to do, but you were faithful to it, and it turned out to be prosperous?
Learning multiple roles at one time. Man, just last year, man, I had so many skits and plays I had to do, and it was challenging to me because with the last play I was just in at the County Center, I came in, it was a small role. I took it because like I knew I had something else coming up, and I'm like, well, I can learn this small role real quick. I was leaving rehearsal, one of my other rehearsals for the dinner. I get a call as soon as I leave there. They ask me, is it impossible, or do I think I can pull it off, learn the main character role? And I think I had like maybe a month and a half or something like that to learn it, or maybe it was 2 months. And it was challenging, but I'm like, I always try to take it on my chest sometimes and kind of like relieve some stress from certain people. And sometimes it can be a gift and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
True, true.
Very true.
On the in person, I'm like, well, if I put my mind to it, I know I can pull it through and then pull it off. Mm-hmm. And they're going to take a lot of stress out of them. Because when you put on production, there's a lot of stress that come with it. So I tried to make it easy as possible. So it turned out to be good. I mean, I killed the first role that I did, and then when it came to the County Center, like I murdered that, and it made everybody feel good. So like, I think that was probably my hardest challenge when it came to that.
You murdered it. You murdered it.
That's what's up. Well, CJ, we've come to the part of our show that we like to call Pick One. Pick one. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna start it off. So pick one. This is dealing, since we're in the NBA Finals, it's dealing with basketball. If you had to go with a European player that's a star in the league now, pick one. Would you go with Luka or the Joker? Now, before you say what you're gonna say, I personally would select, just from watching the past several games, the Joker is something serious. To be his size and how he can shoot the three, the way he passes like magic, and so. And don't get me wrong, Luka is a phenomenal player too. But I'm personally gonna go with Jokic if I had to pick between the two. So who would you pick?
Hey, you took it. I'm going with Jokic too. I'm going with him.
Yeah.
I mean, cause man, he ain't the most athletic. You know what I'm saying? But he know basketball though. You know what I'm saying? I see him like, to me, he put me in the mind of a modern day Tim Duncan. He just can shoot better. And he passed more. Okay, think about it. He all fundamental. His footwork. Yeah. He can see over everybody. And just the shot that he make, man, he don't jump that much. He throwing the ball up, man. Yeah. I'm going with Joe.
He's fundamentals. He's not flashy, but he's gonna give you a triple double almost every game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and he has his team one game away from winning their first NBA championship. So I can see that. That's what's up.
Yeah. You took it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my pick one, I'm like in this mood for vacation. You know what I'm saying? I need a vacation. So I decided I will go this route. So, pick one. Would you rather go on a cruise to a destination of your choice, or be able to experience an all-inclusive resort in Jamaica? Now, me, myself, I've been on 3 cruises, and all of them was like in the late 90s. I have not been on a cruise since. So I said maybe one day I'll go on another one. So I would say I want that resort, man. I want a resort. Let me get to Jamaica. So pick one.
It's a hard choice for me because I ain't did neither one. I ain't been on a cruise yet, or I ain't been on a resort. But I think I'm gonna do the cruise first, just to experience it. I would love to do the resort, but I just want to experience the cruise first.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
Yeah, I ain't never did.
It's an experience.
He said it's an experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm with that too as well. All right. Pick one comedian. Cat Williams or Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart.
Yes.
Now, let me say this. I went into Kevin Hart years ago.
Yeah.
I was Cat Williams. I remember when I was in undergrad in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I can remember just like it was yesterday. They had I think it was a black organization. They had put on a comedy show during homecoming week, and they brought in Cat Williams and I think it's Lavelle Crawford, and the tickets was $7, y'all. $7. You hear me? So it fit their college student budget. Okay. And so me and my friend was in tears the whole night, like the whole night in tears. And so, I like Cat Williams since then. So I'm going with Cat Williams. I like Kevin now, but I'm going with Cat.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I used to be a big Cat Williams fan, but Kevin Hart won me over just because I seen his journey. Like, it was different for me because from Paper Soldiers to seeing like the smaller stand-up that he did, Grown Little Man that wasn't nobody really paying attention to. Then he was in a lot of film, had small roles that didn't nobody pay attention to, like Meet the Fockers. He was in it. Didn't nobody know that. He was in a couple things, and just to see somebody elevate to where he at now. So I get y'all say comedian, but I look at the whole round. Yeah, so it's Kevin Hart for me.
I like both of them for different reasons. Their comedy is different.
Yeah.
Because so you know that Cat has a certain comedy that I like, that I follow, but then Kevin, I like his comedy, but then I like his life lessons he speak about. So he has a dynamic to where not only does he has his comedy, but then he does a lot of motivational stuff. But then when he speaks with his comedy, a lot of times it shows a certain side of life that you be like, it makes you like make it make sense, like, you know. So I like both of them, but you know, there's that for different reasons, you know. And I like the fact that how Kevin says that we as a people can have more than just one person being successful at one time. So he doesn't have any, from I can see, any hate for any other comedian. He's just doing his own thing. Yeah. And he speaks, so, you know, and some comedians that's not the case. Yeah. But so I can dig that.
I actually like both too, but I like I can really get into Kevin Hart pretty much for the same reason you do. Yeah. Just because, you know, I've loved seeing him in the movies. He is hilarious. Then I actually had the opportunity to actually see one of his shows live last year. I missed that one. And it was hilarious. I know it. Like, I still think about it and I just laugh sometimes. It was really hilarious. So,
yeah, man. Help Kevin Hart.
I am outnumbered.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But I do rock with Cat, but it just Kevin wins me overall.
Now Jerry didn't go with one now, so it's kind of like.
Well,
I thought you picked Kevin. It sounded like you picked Kevin.
I have both. Like I said, for different reasons. But if I had to give one the slight edge, then the slight edge probably would be Kevin, simply because of his motivational stuff that I like that he does. But I mean, you know, but I like both of them. So, you know, like I said, you can Yeah, it's different flavor or whatnot. So now we come to the part of the show, which is the banana peel. We're gonna peel back this banana, and so I'm gonna let Chamel do the honors of reading this banana peel.
All right. Remember, you can send your questions to the capodcast3@gmail.com. All right. We got Gary from Phoenix, Arizona. He has been divorced for 6 months. He has 1 kid with his ex-wife. He would like to be married again. He has shown interest in another woman, and she has shown interest in him. He doesn't want to be divorced, but he also wants to know if he's moving too fast before he enters another relationship. This ties all to forget all that moving forward. This is that type of relationship. It was a marriage that ended. So I would, it's a time frame for everybody. It's different, when you leave one situation to the next, but especially since there's a kid involved, it definitely needs to be thought about heavily by him. Like you said, he's been married before and he wants to be married again. So I would say just, weigh out, what type of, does he feel like he could, if it doesn't work out, is he prepared to face the rejection if this next relationship does not work out? Because we got, what's the quote? It says, love like you've never been hurt before. We don't know why this marriage ended or anything like that, but we just know he's been divorced for 6 months. It's very important that you heal before you enter a relationship, whether it takes 6 months, a year, who knows? It's different for each person. Sometimes people say it's different from a man or woman, so we have men here that can speak from that perspective to say, okay, do you think he needs more time, or is it truly a case by case scenario? What y'all think?
I think I agree with you that he does need time to heal. Being that he has only been divorced for 6 months and he doesn't want to be divorced twice, that's something to look at. I think that a lot of times when you start getting back into the dating world, a good thing to do is to build a friendship first. To know that, okay, what is this person about? But, take it slow and be sure that this is what, that you won't, because later on down the line, it hasn't been that much time. So being that he's only been divorced for 6 months, then that means he has not been seeing this woman for that long either. In time, you start learning other things about the person, and you never truly, for years, I've heard people who are married say, I'm still learning new things. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you have to know if the new things that you start to learn, is it something you can deal with? And being that you just got out of a relationship, not just out of a relationship, but out of a marriage, you never want to get to the point where she's doing the same thing that she was doing, or I'm seeing this, or I'm seeing that. You never want to put yourself into this thing where you're comparing. So I think it's very important to make sure that you heal first and take the time to get to know the person, build a friendship, build a foundation. But then again, there are times with some people that, they meet somebody and they feel like this is the one and they've been together 30 years. So only you can determine what would be best for you. But all we can say is make sure you're ready for that next step so that you don't have to go through the process of a divorce again.
Well, I would say this, Gary. Said he's been divorced for 6 months. So now myself, I have never been married, but I have a lot of friends who are married, and I have friends who have been divorced. The timetable is different for different people. So we can only go off based on what you sent this question to us, saying only you truly know if you totally healed And does this woman have the qualities that you can see in a potential long-term relationship that can turn into a marriage since you desire that? But you also got to figure out, is that something that she wants? Because every man and woman are not looking at the same thing. And it doesn't make a person bad. Everybody doesn't want the same thing. Some people want marriage. Even after they've been married and been divorced, some people have been single and have no desire to be married. Neither people are wrong, but you have to figure that out. But the most important thing is making sure you are whole yourself, that you are whole and healed from your previous divorce. I can only make the assumption that you are, but then again, you wrote this question in to us, so we're trying to give you the best advice that we can, not even from a marriage standpoint, but just from a relational standpoint, because marriage is just, it's a higher form of a relationship, but it is still a relationship. But as an individual, married people are singles who come together to make a team, make a whole. So if you're whole now that you're been divorced, even though it's been 6 months, maybe 6 months has been official. I don't know how long, because some people may have been separated prior to that, and then divorce just became official within the past 6 months. But whichever the case is, make sure that you are okay within yourself and that you really vet not only your own heart, but then look and make sure that the woman that you're pursuing, if that's something that she desires as well, whether she's been married before, whether she's never been married. Because if that is not something that she can see, then you don't want to waste her time and you don't want to waste your time. So I would say, just move with discretion, move with caution, and discernment.
Yep, that's good.
Agreed.
Discernment and caution. Yep.
You have anything to say towards that, CJ?
I mean, y'all really said pretty much the same thing that I was gonna say. Like, you gotta first focus on healing from their relationship, because I know even with regular relationship, it can be what y'all went through can it can traumatize you. So a marriage, marriage is way more deeper. So like, first make sure you heal from that, and then like, it's kind of hard to say a time you moving too fast, because everybody move different. And then I don't know how old he is, so everybody's mindset different. I think you just got to be focused on you and how your heart can deal with it.
All right, that is good. So the main thing is move with caution and have discernment, making sure you're healed from the previous marriage, which is also a form of a relationship. Yeah. So remember, send your questions to the C.A.P podcast3@gmail.com.
Definitely. So CJ, we before we end our show, we do want to give you the chance to let folks know how they can any of your social media handles, website, or anything like that, how they can get in contact with you, follow you, some of the endeavors you got going on. You can tell us some of the things you got coming up. Okay. This is the time that you can put that information out there for our listeners.
Okay, yeah. Y'all can follow me on Facebook, CJ Nevels. Instagram is CJ_Nevels. TikTok, same thing, CJ_Nevels. I'm a part of a play August 19th at the Atlanta Center. Can You Stand the Rain?
That's the title. That's the title to one of my favorite New Edition songs, man. So come check that out.
September 1st through the 3rd, we got the dinner encore. That's at Evergreen.
Okay.
September 22nd through the 25th, there's a play, Traumatized, ran by Marcia West. And October the 21st, that's when I got my event at the Renaissance, the Art Mixer with Nikki Dance Angel.
Yes.
So that's it so far for the rest of this year.
Okay.
See, you say that's it. That's a lot.
You said the Can You Stand the Rain. I love the fact that the director and playwright of that one was my stage manager, Kayla. So I am really excited about that one.
So I'm excited too. So y'all get y'all tickets while y'all can before they sell out. Cause it's gonna be a show.
Come on, Kayla.
Can you stand the rain?
Yeah, and so that's all I have. Been
All right,
coming
cool.
up. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna end the show with a segment from each of us. We have my forget all that moment coming from the book, girl. Forget all that, girl. Forget all that. And today's forget all that moment is about just documenting, whether it be in a journal or your phone, whatever, however you want to do it. Document what you're going through as you heal from a previous relationship. I do a lot of journaling. I still do, more so when I'm going through something. I journal a lot, and sometimes I go back and read it. I don't read everything, but sometimes I go back and read it, just to see where I was at that moment, and then where I am at the present moment. So just to see the progress, or maybe there wasn't any progress. Who knows? But it's more so of a reflection of what has happened in whatever time span the documentation has happened, whether it been a month or a year or anything like that. So there have been times I look back and say, I laugh sometimes, be like, did I really wrote that? Okay, but I'm nowhere near that where I was when I wrote this. So I would just say, as you're going through the healing process, document, like I said, whether it be journaling, digital documentation, make sure you're just getting those things out, and just take some time to go back and reflect, where you were and where you are now. It's more so for motivation to say, okay, I can move past this day because this is what I was feeling this day, and this is where I am now.
Right. It's interesting that you would talk about journaling. Just yesterday, I was going through my phone because I don't know, most people are not iPhones, they team Android, but in my iPhone, I have notes in there that I put a lot of things, and I've been doing it for years, and it's been my way of journaling at times because I can get my phone and something God gives me in them wee hours when I'm putting stuff on Facebook to motivate people. I can, put some things right there in my phone or whatever. And I was going through my phone, and I saw what was like the beginning of the Detours era. A lot of people call me the Detours lady. And when I first made the play, I never did think that it would even go this far, even to me writing a book, From Detours to Destiny. But years ago, I got the idea, I've said before, in 2004, and I didn't do anything with it till 2019. But in 2017, my pastor was preaching, and before he did this particular sermon series, I had just posted that I was under construction. And of course, even though I didn't think about this at the time, when you're under construction, when you see a construction site, you'll always see a sign that says what? Detour. Detour. And I wasn't even thinking about this. And I posted a scripture. I can't think of the scripture at the moment. And this particular sermon series that my pastor was doing, I get to church, and I had just posted about this, and the name of his sermon series was Under Construction. And he was talking, I'm just going to read this because I pulled this up when I was looking at what I had been journaling. And it says, he said this, and it stuck with me way back in 2017. He said, detours, they are inconvenient, they are frustrating, they are painful, but they are necessary. In the detours, we get to our destiny. We allow detours to defeat us. If you let the detours defeat you, God says you're not ready. There is purpose in the detour, and you have to learn to embrace the detour. And this was the start of detours. And from this, I have started to see all the different detours that so many people encounter. So learn to embrace the detour.
That was dope.
Okay. Well, my moment, the brain drop moment, what I want to say is spend your time wisely because you won't get a refund. I'm going to say that again. Spend your time wisely because you won't get a refund. In essence, what I'm saying is that we only are allotted so much time on this earth. We are naturally dealing with an invisible time clock, and when that clock hits zero and time is up, we're out of here. So you don't want to waste your time, even though all of us have done that in our lives. But once you know better, you ought to do better. So you shouldn't waste your time. You shouldn't allow other people to waste your time. You just got to be more cognizant of it. And spend the time that you have, even when you're frustrated, because I know all too well about that. We all do. Or whatever the case is, looking at the positive side of things and asking God for direction. But, your time is valuable. You can recoup money. None of us like to lose money. But if you lose money, you can recoup money. You lose your time, you can't recoup that. Whether it's done by you or you allow others to do that. So once again, spend your time wisely, because you won't get a refund for that, because once time is up, time is up. So make sure that you be cognizant of that and think about that as you go on about your everyday life, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're a business owner, whether you corporate, with family, no matter who you are or who you're with or whatnot, just remember that, because time is a precious commodity that, that is not, there's not an unlimited supply of.
That's good.
That is really good.
It was. Yeah.
So with that being said, this has been a great show. We want to thank, of course, like always, our producer Cassius, that's behind the scenes, that produced this for us. Our guest CJ, that gotta definitely check out that play. And I will keep getting some dope shirts made, because that's what I like. And also to our good friend and sister,
The other CJ.
Chamel, the other CJ, Chamel, who even though this would be her last time on here far as a part of the podcast crew, but she's definitely still a part of the crew that originated spring of 2022. And it's going to be some further collaborations down the road. So we wish you nothing but the best. And to those out there listening, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. If if you're more of an audio listener, we're on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. But whatever you do, subscribe, share, and subscribe. Get captivated. We're all about cultivating, accumulating, and prospering. Grown folks talking about things that are pertinent, motivating, with some humor in it, but we definitely are trying to push the culture forward in a positive way. So until the next time, everyone be safe, keep God in your life, love one another, because time is precious and there's something you can't afford to waste. And be sure, understand, get captivated.
Get
captivated.
Get captivated.
Get captivated.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.